Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mihir Joshi, and welcome once again to the MJ Show. Now, I'm super excited about today's episode, and there's a reason I'm wearing this t-shirt. Now, if you've watched the MJ Show since the 30th of March, since I've been going live every night, I've pretty much always been wearing black. But today, despite the heat and everything, I've braved wearing a grey t-shirt because of Tintin on my t-shirt. And the reason I'm wearing this is because I'm going to be speaking with somebody who is possibly the most incredible explorer that I have seen of all the people that I've met in the entertainment industry. He has done more things, more interesting things than pretty much all of us combined right now. And I can't wait to hear some of the stories, because apart from doing interesting things, making music that you guys love very, very much, he's also an incredible storyteller. So let's welcome this fantastic storyteller on our show, because I can already joined in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on the MJ Show, the absolutely fantastic Shantanu Moitra. And he is here. Hello, Shantanu. How are you?
Hi, how are you, Mihir?
Excellent. Thank you. So, before I start talking with you, like I said, for the last couple of days, I've been watching a whole lot of your videos of your travels in the Himalayas, some of your TED Talks, and, because everybody knows the music part, everybody knows the incredible work that you've already done in Bollywood. And I thought it would be interesting today if we could talk about the things that you love doing beyond Bollywood. Does that sound good?
The best.
Awesome. So, you know what, before we begin with what you've recently done, I always do something when somebody comes on my show for the first time. I call it the origin story segment, and I wanted to know, did you know at a very early age that music is something that you're going to be involved in, or it's going to become your profession? What did a young Shantanu Moitra like when you were growing up in Kolkata?
No, actually, I was never in Calcutta. I was born in Lucknow and brought up in Delhi. So I'm a full-on Delhiite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only that I'm a Bengali from Delhi or UP. That's it.
Got it.
To answer your second question, the only thing that I knew about myself when I was young is that I'm clueless. Okay, and that hasn't changed since. I'm still clueless. But somewhere there's an amazing joy in being clueless, because you can try out new things. It doesn't work, something you try. So there is a variety. So I don't know how boring it would be at 16, 17 if you knew कि यार मेरे को ये करना है. So and I pretty much escaped that boredom. Yes, music was something which all of us did, college canteen mein, playing guitar and all kind of stuff. But this was a time here where you didn't even dare to think that music can be a profession. घर में मार पड़ती पकड़ के बहुत. If somebody, you told your parents that this is what you're doing. So yeah, I guess the times were such that you didn't have these dreams, the luxury which you have now. But for me, what happened was because I failed in so many places, only thing which remained at the moment, at that end of it, was this small lane called music. So dhakka khaku ke under that lane, and then I said, "Oh my God, this is not bad, yeah." I know people say, like, what are you doing with your life? This is a story which one of my dad's friend once came to me. I was sitting in the drawing room and I was passing by, and dad said, "Hello, bolo, uncle ko." So I said, "Hello, uncle." So he said, "So, what are you doing these days?" So I said, "I'm doing music." "Oh, lovely, lovely." "No, so what are you doing these days?" So it's there in my system, this sentence, like, how can you do music? Yeah, like, do something important. Yeah, banking karo, chartered account bano, engineer bano, doctor bano. Music kya hota hai, yaar? So music is like entertaining. Ghar pe you do it just. So I guess coming from there, I am so fortunate that I landed up doing what I do now.
So, so like you said, this is what you do professionally, but there is an incredible side to you which is beyond the professional part, which is beyond the music. And for everybody watching in right now to know the the successful music career that Shantanu has had, you can check out. If you just go to YouTube and type Shantanu Moitra interview, you will see multiple interviews where he's spoken about his music career and the success and the Filmfare Awards and the great songs that he's done with Shreya Ghoshal. Incidentally, Shreya was with him on a fantastic Instagram live chat a couple of days ago. Was it on Facebook, Dada?
Yesterday,
Facebook
Instagram Live. Yeah.
Instagram
Yes,
Live,
Instagram.
exactly. So you can see that also. But now I want to find out, how did this passion for traveling, how did this passion for discovering new places come into you?
Mihir, I'm actually so happy you're asking me these questions because I'm really kind of bored talking about the music part of it, because actually it's everywhere and you're right about it. So the backdrop is very simple. This middle class Bengali boy who didn't like studying, didn't like working. Who wants to go to office in the everyday morning? Yeah, like people are lying when they say that actually. But karna padta hai, so you're doing it. So in my case, well, I studied whatever I studied. Then I joined a bank. From there, I joined advertising as a brand manager kind of stuff, handling clients, things like that. Far away from the creative world, by the way. But the thing was, Mihir, that mountains, nature always fascinated me. And I think the reason was not so much about the mountains and the nature. It was कि यार office से दूर भागना है, run away from office. So anywhere which seems far away from office seems exciting to me. So it was really that. So
Okay.
So what was the definitive moment in my life when I decided that I can't do this anymore? And it's very important to share this with you, Mihir, that one day I went to my boss and I said that I want a holiday. And I've not taken a holiday for a year. And it must be crazy listening. I'm sure a lot of guys who are working in offices and corporate world may be thinking, "Arey, kya bol raha hai? What is this like?" But this is my story. I had not taken a holiday for a year. And I had asked for a 10-day holiday. And I had to go through 5 layers of approvals. Okay. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. कि यार 10 दिन के लिए छुट्टी दे दे, भीख मांग रहा हूं मैं. That's the day I realized I want to do something here in my life where I don't have to ask for permission to take a chutti holiday. That is the only clarity I had. What I will do, this, that, nothing. I will do something where I don't have to ask for permission. So pretty much it means that I cannot work for anybody. I have to be on my own. So therefore, who will allow me to do anything was the fact that thoda bahut music kar leta tha. So maybe, you know what, I can try something like a jingle. That's really how it started me. I didn't want to take a permission for a holiday.
That's
and
awesome.
I still remember the day I talked to a lot of people who go through those depressions. The day I left my job, the trees looked greener, the skies looked bluer, people looked happier, the suns looked beautiful, and the earth was tuned up to this beautiful, I'm free. No worry about where will I earn, what will happen, career, life, society, people. Bindas. I'm free. And I think even today I am subservient to that word free, Mihir. Which is why I do so few films. I do 1 film a year. And the rest of the time, the reason why did I take music was I didn't take permission to take a holiday. I don't want to be stuck in a studio. So I'm traveling, mountain, this, that. And I love music. I'm doing that. Fortunately, some people pay and I go back put it back into nature what I'm doing. It's a very simple life.
That's a brilliant way to live. And you know what I love is, of course, we'll talk about your 100 days of Himalayas, which you've kind of spoken about a little bit. And, more than actually, you know what, there are incredible stories. I could spend the next 1 hour right now talking to Shantanu just about the stories of time in the Himalayas. But you know what I'll tell you is, and I'll give you a playlist. I sat down today and I saw a whole bunch of videos and I made a playlist of those videos. And tomorrow when this video goes up on my YouTube channel, on the MJ Show YouTube channel, in the info section, I'll give you a playlist. So you know what? Not only should you listen to the stories, everyone, but you should also see the incredible visuals that go with those stories. Because right now, if we just talk about what happened in the Himalayas, it will just not do justice to the grandeur and the absolute beauty of that trip. That said, I still want to find out why. Why 100 days? Like, okay, I can understand you wanted to take a few days out and doing something, but this is a massive undertaking. This is like 3 months of your life that you were going to dedicate to being with another gentleman the fantastic photographer,
Dhitiman Mukherjee,
Vidyaman Mukherjee, who was with you,
the only
and you
man,
traveled
only
with
man to
him.
have seen the snow leopard 9 times in the world.
Yeah, so you
Yeah, yeah,
traveled with him for 100 days from the
yeah.
north, the westernmost part of the Himalayas
Kashmir
to the
to Arunachal. Yeah.
Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, and you went to Bhutan and Nepal and Tibet in the middle. So, what made you say that, you know what, this is a challenge I want to do for 100 days?
So Mir, I must tell you one thing that I've always been attracted to stories, and stories have always attracted me. You know, it's like a thing, symbiotic thing, and which is why I'm always pushing myself to be in situations which are not safe, because that's when stories happen. You know. Uh, so just to answer before I answer a question, I'll just give you a thing that 100 days in Himalayas happened very late in my life, but there have been so many things which happened early in my life, and one story I will share with you, which is just absolutely when I look back at it and I have goosebumps talking about it. This was Kazakhstan. I didn't even know where this was, so I had gone for for a folk music festival, and I had anyway. Important part is that my only thing is whenever I go to a new place, after the work is done, I extend my stuff for 4 5 days. That's the anyway I do less work, so I have all the time in the world. So I remember that there was this interpreter, Sasha. And this is just uh, a newly formed country called Kazakhstan. They've broken away from Russia. So I said, Sasha, I love the mountains. Can you take me away from? And the capital of Kazakhstan is Almaty. So Can you take me to a interesting place where I can just maybe camp out for a night or something like that? Sasha very excited. He said, yeah, I can take you, but I don't know myself. So I'll put you on to somebody I know. So some guy comes, and both of us we take a 4-wheel drive, and we travel for 6. And this is Mihir, one of the most gorgeous landscapes, man. This is like you are kind of watching the mountainscape. It's desert, high altitude desert, -4, -5 degrees Celsius, and you kind of tenting it out. And it's a very simple plan: go there, tent out, cook something there. Uh, Horse meat is the national dish, so they had made something. So it was, I think, 4:35, peacefully sitting down. Suddenly I hear engine sounds. I asked him the guide, like, this is supposed to be a desolate place, like what's happening? He's also a little confused. Mir, dusk is happening. It's a beautiful golden hue, and I see 5 pair of headlights coming from far. And as it comes closer, there are 5 4-wheel drives come and form a circle, and bandanas and mufflers, like the COVID masks. Guy comes out, and very politely, one person comes out and says something in Kazakh language to the guide. The guide says that, oh, we are in trouble. So I said, what happened? He says, the chieftain has called us. I said, chieftain? Kahan ka chieftain? What chieftain? He said, no, this is apparently their area. So, but invited you as a guest. I said, oh, okay. I have no clue, huh, by the way. I don't know what's happening. So as I am walking towards, and I'm thinking, yeah, chieftain, I see 7 Kalashnikovs, AK-47s, all of them. Okay. I said, what is happening, dude? So like, and by the time it's too late. So they very nicely make me sit in front of one of the cars, and it's going to keep the gun between him and me. There are 2 guys sit behind, and there are like 3 cars. We travel for 20 minutes in the desert, high altitude desert. It's now night time almost. Beautiful desert sky. 5 tents, very, very embroidered tents, like we see in movies. And they take me, and the chieftain is sitting there. Nobody comes here. We are very happy you are there and all that. But I can make out from his conversation, and there's a guide and all that, that this guy is something else which is beyond my understanding. I asked this guide next to me, and my guide is almost shivering. I said, "What is happening?" He said, "He is one of the most dreaded dacoits in this place. Yeah, and actually today is his birthday. So he has called you to celebrate a birthday dinner." I said, what role am I supposed to play in this? So he said, "No, actually they got to know about the fact that somebody's there, and I don't know how they found out that I was there with a folk music group and all that. So some music hoga, gana bajana hoga, but it's already here in my neighborhood." So yeah, so the important part is, Mihir, that I couldn't go because he kept on insisting. They made in the desert, now it's night desert. The cars were formed a circle, headlights were on, and song and dance happened. And at the end of it, they took the guns and and the chieftain got his gun to me and told me to fire, because that's mark of respect. I'm the guest. I said, "Dude, this is." He said, "No, fire, please fire, birthday, my birthday."
Oh,
I
man.
did, and and I'm everybody, yay! Then I said, "So thank you. I have to go back," which was not the plan. The plan was to stay in the night, but who the hell is going to stay there? He graciously told me to go, and said, "Love you, love India, love India, love India. Come to my house next time, Kazakhstan." Jesus Christ, Mir. It was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Oh man, I got goosebumps right now. That is insane. What a story. That is just crazy. So, okay, I was going to ask you after talking to you about the Himalaya thing, that tell me about some interesting things, and this is beyond anything that I could have imagined. So you know what, this is one experience, and okay, even before the Himalayas happened, like you said, that happened quite recently. Tell me some other countries that you visited which were also memorable in some other way, because like I said, even before you came on over here directly live, I love the fact that you tell incredible stories through your music, through your. By the way, for everybody, there is an incredible book that Shantanu has written, which I have just downloaded right now from the Amazon Kindle store. You guys should check it out as well. It is called "On the Wings of Music: A Book of Journeys." It's absolutely fascinating, and there's one story in that which I definitely want us to talk about, when you met one of your gods, and we'll talk about that. But before we do, tell me about some other places that you've been to which were memorable for you as a explorer.
Pretty much, actually, I've one of the first things I did when I first left my job. Okay, see, you have to understand, Mihir, those were the times जब पैसे नहीं थे, there was no money. So traveling needs money. Okay, जितना हो सकता था, with the pocket monies, I used to travel, but it would run off till a particular point. I developed the art of surviving through, how to put it, being opportunistic in situations. For example, one of the tips, and this is in case people are traveling, always carry medicines extra, not for yourself. If you're stuck somewhere, money doesn't work, give medicine. Medicines work everywhere, and very simple 3 answers: for fever, for stomach or diarrhea, and just give something like a balm, like a move or something. These 3 things are the biggest currencies in the world when you're stranded. Okay, so many places I have used these things to get by. But I remember when I left my job, one of the first things I did was, my dream was to go to the Everest Base Camp. And so I went to Everest Base Camp, and wherever I reached, 2 lessons I learned. I'm going to wrap this up fast so that you can have more questions. Is that I had paid a lot of money to go, and we hardly had money to do this Everest Base Camp thing and go. and it was bad weather. And every day I would get up in the morning and just ask my Sherpa, the guide, hey, Everest dikhega na? Everest dikhega na? So I think he got pakawed here. So one day he sat me down, and this was in Tongpoche Monastery. Tongpoche would be around, roughly around 17,000 feet. And anyway, gasping for air. He says that, what's your problem? I said, what do you mean? He said, like, you keep on asking me the same question. Everest dikhega kya? Everest is not my father's here, you know. So he says, Everest is a mountain. All it takes is one speck of cloud in front of it and you can't see it. This is your destiny. You can see it or not. Na? Why don't you enjoy the journey and not wait for the last moment? And if you enjoy this, wo dikha ki nahi dikha doesn't matter. I said, Jesus, man, this is amazing perspective.
Yeah.
And that's when I started doing that. Every day I started looking at now details, lovely flowers, lovely dews, lovely skies, lovely people, lovely dog, and didn't think about it. And Mihir, I must say that when I finally reached Everest base camp, the day it was snowing badly and it was bad weather. And next day morning, wow, it was like for an hour it just opened up and I saw it with all its glory. Then from there I went ahead, and then the interesting part of the story, which always happens to me, is that my guide and I kind of separated, and he was carrying my water bottle, and there was an earthquake, there was an avalanche, and I slid into a crevasse.
Oh my God.
It was in a crevasse for roughly an hour, and I could see the crevasse was not so deep. I could see the sky, but I was so exhausted. I didn't have, and my throat was so parched that I couldn't shout out for help. And the interesting part is there was a guy sitting next to me with a coat and a hat, and I kept on asking him that, can you give me some water? And he didn't even acknowledge me. I was like, these guys, these Ferangis are absolutely rude here. Like, I'm getting jacked like this. Anyway, I started hallucinating a bit because I think I was hyper. I was getting cold, and then I heard some voices. There was an Australian lady who was passing by. She saw me, and then they got help, and I got rescued. But the important part was that as I was going up, I wanted to tell this guy who was sitting there and he was not acknowledging me that, dude, like, I don't know what's your trip. And when I looked at him and realized it was just a skeleton. So what happens is, in that cold, the flesh goes away, but nothing else disintegrates. So I was just talking to a dead body for a good an hour. He was my companion, only companion.
Oh
and
my
thank
God.
Thank God for him, because if I was feeling that I was alone, I would have panicked. The fact that he was there, so there was almost like a purpose he was there for. And the interesting part is, this body would have, Mihir, very important, it's a glacier, so it's moving. This body would have died 3.5 years back, somewhere high up in the mountain. It has moved like this to the glacier and just happened to be there when everything. So yeah, Mihir, life has been just incredible for me. I can go on and on with the stories.
Man, second goosebump moment right now. This is the first time I'm looking at the comments over here, and there's this emoji, right? You guys know you're putting up this emoji. I have never seen my face do this emoji in a chat as many times as I've done in this conversation already. This is incredible. I mean, everybody right now is blown away. Like, I can see mind-blowing emojis, these emojis, but like, this is phenomenal. Like, it's okay. I'm at a loss for words, and I'm generally not at a loss for words. But what an incredible story. Okay, okay. Let's switch gears a little bit from your tours and your travels. Let's talk about the music that you loved growing up. I mean, I've seen you talk about some of the music that, of course, folk music is one of the passions that you have. Discovering folk music, not just from across the world, but also folk music of India. But I also know that you're into rock music in a big way, and you were telling me about meeting a band that you really, really love, and a band that I'm a huge fan of. How did that happen? I'm talking about, actually, you tell everybody about this experience.
No, nothing. It's just that, like, I think all of us, when we were growing up, we were listening to Rolling Stones and the Beatles and all that. But one of the bands which like really wowed me was Eagles. And I remember when I was like, I think probably it was Eagles one of the last tours. It was in San Diego. I just flew down from here to see the Eagles live, and that's it. Because I knew it was lifetime, and who the hell knows they're going to do it again or not. Epiphany, because they didn't after that. Glenn Fry died, and there was a long line. I had done the booking before, so I forget the terminology, but they basically show your mobile phone and they give you because you booked it online many months back, and they give you like a ticket. So it's like a ticket window, ticket master. So long line and standing, and then what happened was that then suddenly something happened. They opened the doors and everybody went inside. I took some time to understand what's happening. Why are people going inside? But I realized that because there were so many people, they allowed. So very soon it was empty. So I was still standing with my mobile phone, the tickets, this thing. And there was a guy standing out there with a hat and this thing, and he was smoking. So he looked at me and he said, "Hey mate, you from here?" Very casual thing. And it was dark. So I said, "Yeah, actually I've come all the way from India to listen to the Eagles." And he said, "You came from all the way from India to listen to the Eagles? Wow." I said, "Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a little confused what's happening because of the ticket." Is it okay? Show me a ticket. So when he's seeing the ticket, I look at this guy and I said, "This is Don Henley here. This is like he's backstage. He's just come out for his van and everything was there, and he was just because there was nobody. He came out to have a smoke and he was studying there. Then my wife was inside. My son was a little far away, so he just said that we don't need a ticket. Just go in." I said, "No, but I need a ticket because there's family there. So, it often happens that heroes, when you have never thought that you will see in your life, when they come in front of you, you are lots of words. And I don't know, I could have done so many things. I could have taken a selfie. I could have taken a autograph. I don't know from where it comes. I said, "Can I just hug you?" And he said, "Yeah, come." I just hugged him and he went off. He had security there and he went off. It's just a moment. I will never ever forget that hug which he gave for my childhood hero. And in the concert, I remember when it was an open air concert, and when it came to Hotel California, there was not one dry eye, because the entire audience of roughly around 45,000 people that day, all of them had grown up listening to Eagles, and to hear them, all of them, play Hotel California, and I was looking around and I see that everybody's tears rolling down. What a magical moment, And,
I can imagine.
And to just feel him, I still cherish this. And here is a very important thing, Mihir. And I think in these days of photographs and selfies, sometimes we miss that moment because we are looking at the camera. But in this case, I looked into Don Henley. I hugged him, and I remember that moment for all my life.
That's incredible. It's such an amazing story, and I can also just see how much their music meant to you. Apart from the Eagles, if you could think of maybe two other artists or bands from that space, the rock music space, that meant as much to you, who would they be?
Actually, very surprisingly, being a composer, I never had one genre, and maybe that's a very important thing for many composers who are going out. That if you're a composer, you need to listen and love a lot of stuff. So for me, jazz was huge. Okay, I was listening to a lot of jazz, and in fact, I must say that last year in New Year's Eve, I had the good fortune of going to the Blue Note Jazz Club, where we had Chris Botti playing for a good 2.5 hours in this legendary jazz club. It's amazing when you enter. You see Louis Armstrong, you see Dizzy Gillespie, you see all the bass. I'm forgetting also, but to see there that intimate audience and to play. So from my childhood, I've heard a lot of jazz. um, Doors, Rolling Stones, Eagles, of course, the Beatles. I used to love a band called Men at Work. So yeah, so a lot of this kind of stuff. But I think why Eagles is that somewhere, though they were a rock pop band, there was so much of country,
That's
which
true.
became my calling too. That though I was doing Bollywood and everything, I always try and have a little bit, just a dash of folk in it, to because that is my sound. When I know how beautifully they have captured that. So when I do something like Behti Hawa Se Thawo, Udti Patang Se Thawo from Three Idiots, I have that beginning call, which is like folkish. The inspiration again is Eagles.
Oh wow, that's amazing. It's awesome to see how music that for instance, you grew up with has colored the way you've brought your music out in Bollywood, and we are so much better for it. Because I remember speaking with Ehsan many years ago on the MJ show. In the very first season, he was one of the first few guests, and he's a complete blues man. So, despite, say, Shankar Ehsan Lloyd doing all your big Bollywood hits, so much of the music that they also do is inspired by the blues and the jazz and the rock music that, say, Ehsan or Lloyd grew up with. And I think that's the best thing about your music as well. I think a lot of us really enjoy the fact that those influences seep in, and it's just there. It's subliminally, it's subliminally there. It's not in your face. It's not like, you're taking inspiration. Nowadays, a lot of people are, but it's there, and it makes it so much better.
You mentioned Ehsan's name, and I must tell you honestly that that time, be it Shankar, be it Ehsan, Lois from Delhi only, Ram Sampath, we were
Yeah,
all basically doing jingles.
yeah,
And the truth is, Bollywood was far away. हमारे landscape में था ही नहीं Bollywood. None of us. None of us. So therefore, I think the fact that we are here, you can't take away the blues and the rockers and the jazzes out of all us
correct.
guys, because that's our upbringing.
Those are your roots. Yeah, absolutely. No, and you know what? In fact, I remember So for everybody watching right now, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework post this interview, which you can see. I'll give you the links on, like I said, the info section of this video when it goes up on YouTube. There are two TEDx talks that I saw, and one talk, I think it was an IIT that he spoke about, which
Kharagpur,
gives you a
IIT
little bit of
Kharagpur,
his IIT, right?
IIT Kharagpur, yeah.
So those three videos I'm going to give you the links for. That'll give you an idea of his Bollywood journey as well. And in that I saw the first jingle that you did, which was really successful, was Uncle Chips, right?
Bole Mere Lips, I love Uncle Chips, yeah.
So you know what? I just realized when I was thinking about it that, some of these jingles, and I spoke with Leslie also, who's also been a prolific jingle maker. Those jingles which you made in the 90s are still like songs for all of us, the kids who grew up at that point of time. Did you ever think that the jingles you would make would have an impact on an entire generation, where there's an instant nostalgia connect for so many of us who think about Uncle Chips, yeah, fruity, mango fruity, fresh and juicy, yeah,
Yeah,
dood, all those kind of
yeah,
jingles which
yeah,
were there.
yeah, absolutely.
Everybody remembers like they were songs.
Actually, I must say that I am what I am primarily because of my training in jingles. Because who gives you a song straight away? But all the techniques, all the things to make it attractive in 30 seconds or 20 seconds, it's a huge thing. And I still remember, it's a good question you asked, that did you think? No, we didn't think that these songs goes out. You never think, actually, even when you're doing a Bollywood, any song. If you're sensible, you will never think that, oh my God, this will go out and do this. No. You can't play God. You can just do what you can do the best of the minute. I remember I had done a ad for Coca-Cola called Ummeed Wali Dhoop Sunshine Wali Asha. Now, when I had done it, and Prasoon had written the words and we had done it, used children, all that. You won't believe it, Mihir, that in 10 days' time, it's amazing how I kept on hearing it everywhere. And kids are eating with it and all that. And then you suddenly realize that, be it a 3.5 minute, 4 minute song, be it a 20-second jingle, you need to touch that heart. you know. And the irony is, Mihir, that none of us know how to do it. We can just try. And that's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of
That's
art.
amazing.
We don't
That is
know how it works, but you can just keep trying.
That's fantastic. Okay, once again, for all of you watching, I'm going to give you a link to the Amazon India page where you can download, buy and download Shantanu Moitra's book, which is, like I just told you right now, I have the worst memory in the world. Yeah, On the Wings of
On
Music,
the Wings of
a
Music.
book of journeys. But in that book, like I said, there's an interesting story about you meeting one of your heroes at an airport. And again, a situation where you did not really get to retain that memory in any tangible form, but it's there in your head. Can you tell us about that?
Yesterday in that Instagram live, one of the important things that Shreya kept on saying was that I have a very bad memory, which is true. I'm complete scatterbrain, and I just completely get overawed by people who I look up to. So this was actually very ironical. We were going to Pernita's premiere, the IFA premiere of Pernita in Amsterdam. And we were going via, there was a stopover in Milan. Yeah. 2:33 in the morning. There was Vidya Balan, there was me, there was Swanand, there was, I think, most probably Raima Sen. So they were all tired. They were this thing somewhere else. I don't know what happened to me. I've never seen an empty duty-free shop in my life because 3:30 in the morning, there was no flights. So I was like, wow, this is like amazing. So I went there. I was just browsing around, and Swatch was new. I love swatches. So I was there, and there was this guy standing next to me who was actually looking at swatches too, and stocky guy. And I just looked at him, and there was a tongue. I said, I've seen this guy somewhere. And Mihir, suddenly dawned on me, this is Diego Maradona. This is Diego Maradona. And you have to understand what is it for me. I'm a Bengali, okay? I have played football for Delhi. Football is my life. And Diego Maradona is standing there. 99% Bengalis anyway believe Maradona is Bengali. That kind of cult. So first thing I did, I took out the phone and think about it. I called my friend in sorry, can you hear me? Yeah, my plane, one of my football mates
You called your friend?
In India, in Bombay, and would have been some obscene time for him that time, whatever. And I said, "Hey, Partho, do you know who is standing next to me?" And he's like, "Where are you calling from? What?" I said, Diego Maradona is standing next to me. He cut the phone. I was like, I have to share this with somebody. Anyway, so I just looked at him and says, "Can I get an autograph?" And he looked at me and says, "No, no press. I said, "I am not press." He doesn't understand English, but I'm trying to do dumb charades. I said, "I am no press. I am fan. He said, "Fan." So that lady who was, that Swatch lady, there was a person who was actually selling this thing down behind the counter. I said, "Can I have your paper and pencil, please?" So she took it. So I drew the famous goal where he had dodged the entire England team and then had scored against Peter Shilton. I drew that out. He said, football. And he hugged me. And he said, he says, India, football, lovely, Swatch. I don't know what he was saying. So I give my phone to the lady behind to take a photograph for both of us. At that moment, Mihir, behind the glass window, there was an international flight which must have landed. And the people were coming out. And through the glass, they saw Diego Maradona and panic. From somewhere, two bodyguards of Maradona came. And they held it. Maradona is holding my hand. And now we are running, okay, from the duty-free shop. And people are chasing, Maradona. Chaos. Suddenly, one empty duty-free has gone crazy. And then somewhere he left the hand. I was like, oh my God. And I had to quickly go and tell my friends like Swanand and all that, I met Maradona and all that. And a flight to Milan, you go up, I'm like, can't believe, man, Maradona and all that. He was holding my hand kind of stuff. 35,000 feet, when the seatbelt sign goes over, I put my hand in my pocket to take out the my camera to see the photograph, and I realized it's my camera because I did not take it from that lady who was taking the photograph. I was like, what? And then I landed in Amsterdam, and everybody would have been excited about the fact Parinita premiere and the biggest thing. It was one of my first films, But my mind was there in Milan airport, and I trying to call her the fake keyboard, but she by the time her shift would have gone, I never got the phone. But well, it's a memory deeply entrenched in my heart.
That is incredible. I stayed briefly for 4 years. I spent in my childhood from my 4th standard to my 7th standard in Kolkata. So I know the passion for football. That's how my love for football began when I was there. And I remember there was a World Cup that happened in those 4 years that we lived there, and it used to be late at night. But all uncles, everybody would be watching it late at night, and the next morning the first question would be, "Khela dekhacho?" So everybody, I know how much love they had for football back then, and that kind of seeped into me, and I've been a football fan ever since. So I can imagine meeting Maradona is like the ultimate dream for literally everyone, but definitely for Bengalis.
A lot of people are saying hello, big fan of yours. Hello to all of you, and well, these are fun stories. But at the end of it, I don't recommend you try this. These will happen to you, but always try and place yourself in a situation which is not safe, and you'll have amazing stories in your life.
Let me address some of these people. I apologize to all of you. I know this is the first time I've barely spent any time addressing the people who are with us. So for Jyotirmoy Urmi, I think she's been here from the very start, telling you how much she loves you and your music. There is SK0612. My wife Neha has been watching. She's in my place just a couple of buildings away. And she was telling me how much she's enjoying it. So thank you, Neha, for watching. And I have a baby boy who's 20 months old. So somehow I think she's packed him up and she's sitting and watching the Instagram live right now with us. Vishnu is here, who remembered your jingle. Of course, there is Anindya Sarkar. There is Shayok, who told me, who's read your book. Shayok, good stuff. Shayok is also an excellent singer. Glad to know that you are watching in as well. There is Prem. There are a whole bunch of you. So thank you very much for all of you for joining. And like I told you earlier also today, that today we're not really going to get into the Bollywood music of Shantanu Da. But that being said, on behalf of all the fans, again, let me just say thank you for the incredible music that you have given us. Your songs,
thank you,
and collaborations that you've had. I mean, the singers that you've had singing for you, it's been fantastic. In fact, just 2 days ago, I had Shan here with me on the show, and I was telling him that I'm going to be meeting Shantanu Da in a couple of days. And Shanda also said that it was such a pleasure working with you on, I think he worked with you on Parinita and
3 Idiots. 3 Idiots.
You recently did sort of a masterclass in composition on Facebook.
Yeah. And
with him as well. And, that was on your Facebook page, right?
That was on my that was on my Facebook page, right? Yeah.
That was on your Facebook page. So that was another interesting session. If some of you did not catch it, I'll give you guys a link to that as well. Speaking of working with interesting musicians, I know we've been speaking for a long time. I'll try to wrap it up, but there are just so many stories. I want to ask you. We saw you speaking with Shreya Ghoshal two days ago. You've had the pleasure of working and having some of the finest singers work on your music. You had Shubha Mudgalji, you had Shreya Ghoshal, who's of course done a lot of work with you. If you had the opportunity, and I'm not limiting you to the Indian singer pool, if you could have anybody sing on one of your songs and from any time period, alive or dead, tell me one person who would be your dream collaboration or dream person to work with on you as a composer and that person as a singer, purely that.
I'll give you 2 names, one male, one female.
Sure.
Kishore Kumar, okay, and Celine Dion, okay. These 2 are my, if as a composer, the kind of stuff that they can do with their voice, my imagination can just go all the way to the sky, because I'm so excited about these 2 amazing talents.
Could you recommend a Celine Dion song? And you know what? Everybody thinks that her greatest hit, because it became such a massive song, was My Heart Will Go On. And I can tell you right now, if I know Shantanu Da even a little bit from the one half an hour, 45 minutes that I spent, I know he's not going to recommend My Heart Will Go On. Can you think of a nice song that you can recommend to all young people watching right now by Celine
There's
Dion,
a
which you...
there's a beautiful song duet by Celine Dion and
Andrea Bocelli?
Andre Bocelli. Yeah, that is
You're
just
going to say The Prayer.
unbelievable. The prayer. It's just unbelievable, and it's
You-
just like it's.
I should have I should have written down the prayer, and I could have done a mind reading trick right now, because I would have said, okay, you know what, everybody, I'm going to wait for Shantanu Moitra to say her name, and then I would have revealed here that, you know, you're going to say the prayer, because literally that was my thought as well. You know, when you said a duet, I instantly thought Andrea Bocelli, because in my opinion, one of the finest songs ever made, and she sounds so good on that. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
And David Foster, who kind of put them together.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just realizing right now that there is so much more that I want to talk about with Shantanu Da, but you guys know an Instagram live session ends in an hour, and we are almost reaching that 1 hour sort of landmark milestone minute that you know the session will end at. But Shantanu Da, one thing I want to end today's session with is, if I ever have anybody who's related to music, I never let them go without singing something. Could you sing something for all your fans who are waiting here? Does not need to be your song. Just anything that you feel right now.
One of the songs which one of the first song which actually taught me a foreign language. Malaika, nakupende malaika. Malaika, nakupende malaika. Nami nitanyeye itwana wenzio. Nashingwala manisinyawe ingekuwa malaika. Nashingwala manisinyawe ingekuwa malaika. Thank you.
That was awesome. You know, if we were sitting side by side, I would never have left this opportunity of jamming with you. But because of Instagram and there is this little lag that is there, unfortunately, we can't do that. But if you would indulge me, give me about 45 seconds, I'd love to sing something for you and for everybody in right now. Just like Shantanu Da, one of my biggest inspirations, the band that I grew up watching and loving, was the Eagles as well. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an Eagles song, and I have the track right behind me. So one of my favorite songs by the Eagles. Hopefully I'll do it a little bit of justice at least. Okay, here is the track.
Tequila Sunrise.
This is a beautiful song called Tequila Sunrise, and for everybody watching in. And this is very specially for Shantanu Da. I never do this, but this is for him. It's another tequila sunrise, staring slowly across the sky. Say goodbye. He was just a hired hand, working on the dreams he planned to try. Days go by. Every night when the sun goes down, just another lonely boy in town. She's out running around. It's enough. Well, you know what? We could go on for a while, but you know, I told you I'm going to do a little bit of it. So I did the first verse, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the stories that you've shared with all of us. And you know what? Once the lockdown gets over, we must do this again with you sitting side by side without all these possibly glitches that are happening. But I'd love to have you
chatting
back.
with you, Mihir. Thank you so much, Mihir, for having me. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Thank you very much. That's pretty much all the time we have for now, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure you're following Shantanu Da on Facebook. and on Instagram. And there's a lot of incredible content of his, which I'm going to be sharing on the YouTube video that's going to go up on the MJ show tomorrow. Make sure, even if you caught it halfway somewhere, make sure you watch this entire episode and share it with everybody. This is one of my favorite episodes ever because of the incredible stories that we've heard from Shantanu today. If you agree with me, leave me a comment today. And like I said, tomorrow, when this video goes up on YouTube, I'll give you guys a swipe up link here. Share it with absolutely everybody because this needs to be shared. And for tonight, though, this is pretty much all the time I have for now. You just saw the absolutely incredible Shantanu Moitra. My name is Mihir Joshi, and I'm saying good night, take care of yourself, and stay safe.